Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lisa DeMauro, and I am joined by my husband, Chris DeMauro, and we are the Talking Gravesend podcast, a podcast that is dedicated to celebrating William DeMayo's streaming series, Gravesend. Today, we are here to talk about Season 2, Episode 8, The Cyclone.
Unbelievable episode, Lisa. This is a fun episode.
What a whirlwind of...
It's a whirlwind of fun in the Cyclone. We're going to dive deep into it. And if you like the Talking Gravesend podcast for our deep dives into all of the cast, the characters, the cars, the songs, you're going to love this episode because Lisa and I took a special attention and made sure we really dug in deep.
Absolutely. All right, let's kick it off.
Yeah, let's kick it off.
The scene opens. It's a black and white scene, and we see the very handsome Chris Tardio stuffing a bunch of money into the speaker of the stereo system.
I love this scene. It's black and white, so we're obviously back in time. It's Chris Tardio, and it's his love interest, Loretta.
Who's played by Georgia Warner.
Yeah, she's from Blue Bloods. Really, and also she was on the Blacklist too, Lisa. I don't know if you know that.
Yes, I do remember seeing her on that show.
So let's play it because I think it's really cute. And it's a fun way to open.
And man, are they a good-looking couple? They really are.
So he just finished stuffing a bunch of cash into the back of that speaker.
Dance with me.
Now, Georgia, who plays Loretta, I'm going to be very respectful in saying this. Of course, next to my beautiful wife, but she's very strapping. So.
For sure. Yeah. I had no shame in you complimenting Chris Tardio.
Okay, great. Yes. Really like how she looks.
We all know what you like, Chris.
Got nice face.
Nice tender moment.
So she says, I didn't get the whole scene, Lisa.
Yeah.
But what she says is, "Where are you?" And Chris says, "Oh, I'm right here with you." And then he tries to cover up. He's like, "You like the apartment?" Obviously, it's a new apartment for her, which is why I like it better when I'm here with you. And then he tells her, he goes, "They're coming for me." And he says, "Well, who? Who's coming for you?"
Yeah, and then you hear a bang at the door, and it's the FBI, and he says, I'll be right with you. He screams at him.
Yeah, I'm coming.
I'm coming.
And he tells her everything's going to be okay. And you know the funny thing I kind of was waiting for him to say is, whatever you do, don't sell the hi-fi system. You know what I mean? Or the speakers.
Keep the stereo system. Make sure you get a good price on it. Yeah, because she might not even be aware.
She's not aware that the speakers are filled with cash. So whatever you do, no matter how long I'm gone, just keep the speakers in the family. You know what I mean?
Yes. And then it flashes to current day, and you see Charlie sitting in his.
That's right. Then
cell.
he's sitting in the jail cell, and he looks out
day.
through the bars there.
Absolutely. So then we hear the intro by the Lords of Brooklyn.
We come from Brooklyn,
yes.
baby.
And then it opens up, and it's a pretty intense scene. It opens up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you see Santo, and he is hooked up.
Because he was shot. This is when Lester Sims and those guys, they killed Sandy Blue Eyes. Jimmy V was...
Yes. So Jimmy V's in the room, and they're in Dr. Schwartz's office.
Yeah, and Santo's pretty distraught because he's like, he doesn't want to be there. He's like, the only reason I'm taking these freaking pills so I can get out of here. And they're bringing Benny up to speed on what the heck happened.
Correct. And so they tell him what happened, and then in walks Santo's wife, who
Margo.
I know that you're just like, that doesn't look like
I didn't
Margo.
know if that was Margo from season 2.
I feel like it is. I mean, Margo was pretty beat up down.
She was. She had the makeup did a hell of a job on her.
Yeah.
So they're bringing Benny up to speed. And
although, you know what? That wouldn't have been his wife, because his wife wouldn't have been screwing around with that guy.
You know what I'm saying? That's not him. It's
yeah.
not her. Yeah. I'm still struggling on that part.
Yeah. No, she was not. No, that isn't Margo then. That is actually
Harold. Harold's ex-wife.
Harold, yes. I was going to say Martin Chadwick.
Hey.
Yes, Martin Chadwick. Hey, Martin. Okay. Sorry.
We got a little digression
we digress.
there, so.
Yes, exactly.
So when they're bringing Benny up to speed, one of the things that they tell him is that we put Sandy Blue Eyes in the trunk, and Benny was like in the trunk, and Jimmy V was like, he's gone.
He's gone. Yeah, he's gone. He's like, what do you mean?
So Benny goes, who did it? And Santos says they were black as the night. And that's when Benny says, I know that Jimmy Beans does business with Lester Sims from Coney Island.
Yes. Jimmy Beans, always in trouble here. So then the next scene opens up to Sophia Milos.
Well, actually, really quick, before that happened, they shifted over to the office with Dr. Schwartz. And
yes. Benny hands
him an envelope of cash.
Yes, he hands him a nice envelope
and I
of
think
cash.
we talked about it before, but Dr. Schwartz is played by Michael B. Katz.
Yes, Michael Katz.
And he's the attorney, if I'm not mistaken, for Gravesend.
Yeah, business attorney over there on the Instagram. So.
I always heard that you either want to be a doctor or a lawyer. This guy gets to be a lawyer and plays a doctor. That's pretty good. You get a little double team.
Pretty good. Hey,
you do a good job as a doctor too. I'd probably trust you to handle some of my legal stuff, and I don't know about pulling bullets out of me, but at least you got 3 beds there waiting for us.
Okay, back to the next scene, Chris. So
these beds are paying off.
Yes. So we see Sophia Milos, and she is kind of primping and prepping herself.
She plays Tina Telva,
yes,
of course.
Tina
Crazy
Telva,
Chris Telva's wife.
And you hear the ad-libs playing on The Boys from New York City is the song. And she's getting herself all ready, and she beeps Benny.
She's wearing that leopard print low-cut top, as always.
Yeah, but you say she's looking hot to trot.
She is. I wrote that in the script. She's looking hot to trot.
Looking hot to trot. And so then she calls Benny, and Benny agrees to meet her. And Benny pulls up. He is in the Grand National. And she is sitting on the front of her car with, her jacket open. And Benny and Big Rocco get out of the car.
Yeah.
And so Benny comes from one side and she's all happy to see him. And then Rocco comes from the other side and she's like, oh, and she quickly covers herself up and she's like, oh, hi, nice to see you. And kind of plays it off nonchalant.
The whole demeanor changes. The whole demeanor changes.
Yep. It's a whole different scene now. And kudos to you, Benny. We've told you this, that Tina Telva's problems for you. So she's gonna take down the whole scene.
So they ended up giving her an envelope.
Rocco
says that we know there's a lot of expenses with the house and everything, and she goes, "We really appreciate you both.
Thank you for this,
for doing that." So I thought it was really cute, and when I heard that song, the way she hung up the phone, she hung up and snapped. She kind of snapped, and as she went, and I was like, "Oh, she's excited."
She's excited. That's funny.
So then at 9:50 on the timeline, we've got Jimmy Beans, and as we've been talking a lot about Jimmy today,
Jimmy Beans is played by John Enos.
Yes, he's from Boston, Lisa.
Yeah, maybe that's why I like him so much. He's a fellow Massachusetts person.
He's a masshole.
Yeah, exactly.
We're from Massachusetts. That's a very common term, masshole.
Yes.
You know when you come to Mass and you see that sign that says Massachusetts welcomes you? That's a fucking lie. We don't.
No.
But anyway, we're from Western Mass, which is actually kind of a nicer part of Massachusetts. The more east you go, the more dicky it gets. But that's just, you'll find out about that.
Yes.
Someone asked me, you go to Boston? And I was just like, guy.
If I have to go to the hospital or
something, I go to Boston. We go to Boston for 2 reasons, okay? We go to see the Sox game, the Bruins, or we go to the doctors. Beyond that, we don't go to fucking Boston. Anyway. Or to go to the Italian feast in the North End.
This is true. Okay. We digress again.
Sorry.
Again, Jimmy Beans, played by John Enos. He's from Boston. He is known for Phone Booth. Phone Booth. And he was also in one of the last episodes of Sex and the City. And he played the well-endowed gentleman. I
think that's maybe why you're, I don't know, maybe that's why you've got a natural affliction.
I don't know. No, not an affliction.
Attraction?
Maybe.
I don't know if it's an attraction. I don't even want to say that.
I don't know, but I also always said that Jimmy Beans looked like he'd be a good softball coach.
You want to play on a softball team?
Yeah. Let's get a Gravesend softball team together.
Francis was talking about that on Facebook the other day.
Was she?
Paul saw me in my bocce shirt. I play bocce, and he plays bocce. He's got a beautiful court at his Sons of Italy clubhouse that he named after his father. I think we should do a Talking Gravesend bocce tournament, quite frankly. We could invite fans to come and play. A real Italian thing. What do you think? This is a good idea, don't you think?
I think it's a fun idea.
And then I'll play softball, too, if we do bocce. But you got to do bocce first.
I want to play softball with Jimmy Beans.
All right, we'll play. We'll find out about it. You know what? Another thing that you might like about Jimmy Beans, he used to date Taylor Dane. Come on. And I think he was if I'm not mistaken, he was on The Young and the Restless back in the 70s. But I could be. Well, I'm 52. He's 10 years older, so he's 62 years old. So maybe he was a young boy in The Young and the Restless.
Maybe.
Let us know, John. Love your character. You did a great job. And let's move on.
Yes.
Lester Sims is there. He's played by David Roberts. And they're on Coney Island. And they're talking about the shootout. And he just tells Jimmy not to worry that, nobody knows that it was him, basically, because it was all of Lester's guys.
Correct. And just like classic Jimmy Beans, he's so overt about everything. He pulls out his little vial of coke and he puts a big bump on his hand and snorts it. And it's so overt. And obviously, Lester Sims was a little uncomfortable because you see that he kind of mirrors and looks around. And like,
I was wondering if he was just like mirroring it, or is he trying to like
he's
cover
trying to be
it
like,
up?
what the fuck is this guy doing out here snorting lines in front of the Cyclone?
Because that's what he says. He talks up. Jimmy Beans tells Lester that his mother brought him to the top of the Cyclone, and it got stuck up there for hours, and he got stuck up there for hours, and that they should tear down the Cyclone. And that's what Lester's like, tear down a Brooklyn iconic landmark? You must be losing your mind.
Iconic Brooklyn landmark?
Well,
which he is.
Beans, he's crazy. That's what drugs will do to you. Drugs will do that.
So at 10:55, this is a great scene. I have it. We're going to watch it together. It's Caesar
and Maddie Cigars. Again, we haven't seen Maddie Cigars
since season one.
Season one,
yeah.
when his son was killed by
Dominic.
By Dominic, exactly. Yes. That's Paul Ben Victor, and
hell of an actor.
They're at a restaurant in Long Island.
It's Caesar's. It's Caesar's.
Yeah,
restaurant.
it's Caesar's restaurant, and let's play it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's jump right to it.
Oh my God! Look what I did here, though. It's beautiful. You're out here on Long Island. Me, I'm over in the Bronx. Everything's going to shit.
Yeah, I heard it's changing. It's disgraceful how the neighborhoods are getting less and less with our own people.
Everybody's leaving.
Just like here.
Where the Italians going? Where are they going to go? They're going to fucking
left
Westchester now. That's where they're going. Oh, it's bullshit.
It's kind of a fun duality when he says Arthur Avenue will always be there. And that's, of course, Josh Palminteri's Bronx Tale was all filmed and shot around Arthur Avenue. Arthur Avenue.
So if we could discuss a little business,
So they talk about Alfonso being murdered. And this is Tardo, who is Johnny Mad Dog, Joseph D'Onofrio's character, his captain, where they shot Tardo in the street. Because they're talking about really an unsanctioned hit against the boss and how this can't be.
I mean, what the fuck was he thinking? Doing something like that without getting the okay from the board?
We do a lot of business with them, see that? A lot of fucking business. We can't tolerate their crews acting out like that. A bunch of fucking cowboys running around.
What does Enzo think?
So he asks, he's mulling, his boss is mulling it
Set up
over.
a meeting with the Levantos.
He talks about Gene the Pipe's the acting boss over the Levanto.
Gene the Pipe is acting boss over there now.
I know him. He's all right. What about the Bonzano?
Everybody knows they're drug
And we
dealers.
start with them.
He's
They're
really
drug
feeling
dealer,
him out.
And he's disgusted
Really
with
is.
them.
Yeah, so am I.
Speaking of disgusted, the boy Benny, I know he's back. What's the deal?
It's so funny how Benny and Charlie, just those two names, perturb everybody.
Yeah.
I haven't decided yet. It's a real complicated situation, man.
Complicated. You don't support him, Caesar.
Let me ask you a question. If I decide to make a move,
Will Enzo stand?
will Enzo
So
stand with us?
this is where I stopped it, and we're going to talk a little bit about this. So
It's a tough call.
Caesar's obviously feeling him out, right? He's feeling it. Now, he knows that Matty Cigars hates Benny. He killed, basically his friend
He killed his son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
think-
After he gave him a pass, let's be reminded that
After he gave him a pass. That's
yes.
right. So, Lisa, I feel like Caesar was hoping that Matty was going to bite hard and say, I'll take care of that problem for you. And he didn't. And in fact, when he asked him, this is not on the tape we didn't see, he says, you go after Benny. Charlie's going to come at you full force.
Full force. Doesn't matter that he's fresh from jail. Yeah. He's going to come after you.
And
that's we don't want a war right now.
Yeah, that's a problem,
Yeah.
right? And then, Caesar's like, yeah, well, changes happen. Differences happen, And Maddie says, we do have problems, but we'll take care of it in-house, you know?
We handle
Old
it
school.
ourselves, exactly.
So that was it, right? So Caesar didn't get what he wanted out of Maddie. They end it, and Caesar says, Chindan, which I thought was an interesting thing to say, because he's asking for 1,000 more years, basically, or cheering to 1,000 more years. Might not be the case for Caesar, at least in my opinion. I don't think it's going to be the case.
Who knows?
So, yeah, he didn't get what he wanted out of Maddie, and that was pretty interesting. That was a good a good scene, in my opinion. And anything with Paul Van Victor in this show is just, it's a good scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So this next scene, we're at 1420. We have this one. I know that this is, this was a special scene that folks wanted to talk about as far as how it was shot. But we open up to Johnny Mad Dog, who is Joseph D'Onofrio's character. And he is up on the roof, and we see... he's up on the roof, but we see his two guys walking down
up
on the street.
And he's saying, I can't even go to Sunday dinner with the way my face looks because Benny beat the shit out of them outside of Vincent's because they called Benny a fag, if you remember correctly.
Correct. So, and go ahead, talk about the scene, because I know that Steve had sent you a
So
photo.
I want a quick special thank you to Steve Holfish, the editor of Gravesend series, outstanding ace editor, and just love your show. I've been learning a ton about editing from watching your Art of the Cut podcast. I mean, what a show listening to it. Recently had our friend Mikolos Wright on, who's working out with Kevin Costner's New Horizon. So anyway, Steve was nice enough to reach out to me. He sent me a photo from BTS, a behind-the-scenes photo of this actual scene. So let's show it to you, and then I'll put the photo in for everybody to see so you can see how they accomplished this really cool shot.
What's up, guys?
So I like how it gets pretty close on both of them. They walk in. Here we go.
Come here, buddy.
Right up.
Come here.
I like the audio being brought in. Just a cool little shot. You know, just fun to watch.
Very smooth and pleasing
Nice
to the
and
eye.
smooth and pleasing. Right, brings you right there. And here we go.
Hey,
So
Johnny.
and we're gonna
Nice
we'll
bird.
talk about it. So I'll put this picture right here. Here's the shot of it. Really cool. Thank you, Steve, for sending this to us. So Johnny basically says, "What the hell were you thinking?" You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who schooled you? He wants to know who schooled those two. And he wasn't having. He's like, "How dare you do this?"
He said, "You questioned Benny being a fag," and he slapped him. He slapped him so hard, freaking Mad Dog almost flipped.
Yeah, he almost tips over as he bitch slaps the guy. Totally.
So he puts them both on the shelf.
Correct.
And-
Tells him to get off the roof. Get off the fucking roof now.
And a little shout out to Steve again, because I like the audio edit there as the audio of the pigeon starts coming up. You kind of get that, like, I don't want to say stool pigeon, but you know, a real shitbird.
For sure. So this next scene, we open up, and we actually have some footage for this, Chris. It opens up into the classic car museum.
Yeah, I guess this is a new place that Benny's invested in.
It's
with a guy
really
named Phil.
pretty. Yeah, it's a
Huge.
really aesthetically pleasing place. A lot of old cars
Like
there.
a big facade of a Brooklyn bridge. I know they were talking about a couple of 57 Chevys that they had. That's my dad's. My dad wants a 55 Chevy. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Paul Borghese owns a 55 Chevy Bel Air, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, 57 Chevys at the thing. They walk in, then there's a diner. And as they're walking up the steps of the diner, I don't know if you noticed, Lisa, on the kick plate to the steps,
Yes, each one was representing a different car.
it had I think a Corvette
Yep.
and a Mustang. Really nice attention to detail there. And they walk up, and it's like a 50s doo-wop diner.
Yeah. And we have Chris Mormando, Gaetano, and he is with Benny. And
Yeah, here, I think we have a little second of it.
Yeah.
They just ordered they're ordering some lunch. As a matter of fact, he ordered Gaetano a chocolate shake and him a vanilla. And then here walks in Petey and Mario.
Benny?
but before that, you know what? Pause this.
Sit down, guys.
Before this happens, Christian DeMeo enters the scene.
Oh, that's right. Thank you so much for catching that.
So,
let's get this back up for a
Christian
second.
DeMeo comes in. We see Sammy, and as we know, Sammy now has his own book, and he's running the numbers.
He's running the numbers.
Yeah, so he comes up to Benny and Gaetano at the table, and Benny gives him $50, plays some numbers, and Gaetano gives him, he says, here's my donation.
Yeah, he says, I don't want to play because I've been playing it for 20 years, and I never win, not even once. I'm at the kiss of death with this thing.
Yes. And he tells him, put $20 straight on 127. And Sammy says, 127, that's a good number. And we also agree that that's a good number because Sammy says that's his birthday, 127. And that just also happens to be Chris's birthday,
Yep.
January 27th.
January
So
27th.
Yeah, 127. So you're
Me
in
and
good
Sammy.
company. Yes.
We're in there. Aquarius.
Birthday bros there. So
So in walks in Mario and Pete after that.
Yes,
And
yes.
you can see visually here that
Pete's all beat up. Mario's looking all cozy in his snuffy suit
he
there.
is looking cozy.
Look at Pete.
Pete looks like he got hit by a
Mario,
fucking
how was the
bus.
flight in?
It was great. Got a flight back tonight, though.
It's crazy down there, man. Benny, the deli's packed every day. You don't understand. Lunchtime, there's a line around the building.
He's wearing a new Brooklyn
It's insane.
brand suits, that
That's what
suit
happens when
shirts
you
that they're
supply
making.
great product. The word spreads fast.
It's true. Not only that, but everybody loves the name. Did a great job coming up with the name Mimi's.
Yeah, I guess Mimi's Tortellini's down in Hollywood.
So what happened to you?
Yeah, we gotta pop in.
It's a good question. Those Florida guys, they just started hitting me.
Just like that.
Mr. Innocent. Look at
Yeah,
everyone.
look at
going,
everybody.
I wasn't doing nothing.
I wasn't doing
Sure,
nothing.
Petey.
We were dealing drugs,
You there,
jerk
Mario?
off.
Not Benny.
So I guess they mistaken you for someone else.
Won't even look at him.
That guy Barry, he comes over and he goes, "Are you Benny's guy?" And then he just cracks me.
That's what he did?
Yep.
Barry flip-flops, just hit him.
Look at the side eye.
He's
All
like,
right.
that's
I'll
what
reach
we're
out to
doing.
them.
Thank you, Benny. I just hope they pay for what they did to me.
You should be ashamed of yourself, Pete.
I mean, he's straight lying. All right, we got to stop this really quick. The next scene's awesome. So that was an interesting scene. Obviously,
And Pete's played by Vincent Prestigiacomo.
Yeah, we met him in Staten Island a couple of weeks ago. It's
Yeah.
good meeting you, Vincent. Great, love you in the scene. Sorry you're not going to make it too much longer in the show. Not to give it a spoiler alert, but everybody's already like, all right, what's going on with Petey?
Why'd you do it, Petey?
So the next scene is actually one of our favorites in the whole series. You want to just play it?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
let's just play it.
Yes, we
Get ready.
Yes, we love this. We've got the girls. We're in La Bella Boutique.
What do you think?
You look
The
so
song
hot.
that's playing in the
Anything looks good
background
on you,
is
girl.
Let's
Thank
Go.
you. I got us into Danceteria tonight.
And it's by
I
Norcia?
heard Patrick Swayze was there last week.
Norcia.
I heard that too,
I
and I
thought
love
this was
Pretty
by Cynthia.
Outsiders.
What a great movie, right?
Norcia.
Yeah. You're
Probably saying
coming,
that wrong.
right?
So they were talking about going to.
Joey will,
Okay, good.
Joey
It's gonna
Bass
be a
will
great
correct
time.
me on that.
I'm gonna go change. See you there. Okay.
And they were talking, let's just stop
Yeah,
for
they're
a
talking
second.
about going to the club,
Danceteria.
Danceteria, and that Patrick Swayze was seen being there in the club last week, and I think it's really cute because so in the room here we have Linda, who is played by Julia Macchio, we have Rosemarie, who is played by Gabriella Palminteri, and we have Diane, who is played by Cleo Lang, and she mentions that she really likes The Outsiders and that she loved Patrick Swayze in the movie Outsiders, and Julia Macchio, Linda says, "Oh, I love that movie," and I just think that's so cute because her father starred in
That's
that
right.
movie. Johnny Killed a
Johnny
Soch.
Killed a Soch.
Yes,
So that's Ralph Macchio. That's Julia's father.
Correct.
And of course, he's got one of the hit shows out, Cobra Kai, right now.
Yes,
Which she is also in. Julia is also in Cobra Kai.
Yes.
One of the things that also kind of struck me about that line, and we love to dive in deep, is that when they use the term outsiders, that's also a term that people like they would use, right? Because they're insiders. They're all of their dads are in the life.
Sure,
And-
they're all made. They all
Yeah.
have their button.
And now the people that are making fun of them in the boutique are outsiders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so let's get right back to the scene.
Okay, here we go.
Dun-dun-dun.
This is so good.
Diane.
And the girls are having fun, right? This
I
is
mean,
so-
Rosemarie's outfit, you look
Yeah, she looks
stunning.
good.
That dress is beautiful. Look at these two, the scrunchy twins here. Their furry sweaters.
I like that shot right
Yeah,
through
it's a
You seeing
beautiful
this,
shot.
Diane?
Are you
It's
seeing
that
this
bitch
shit?
Stella. She's laughing at us. Fuck her. Just
Diane
ignore
tries
it.
to keep it classy. She's like, don't let it bother you. Don't let it bother you.
Are you serious? Hey, Stella, you got a problem?
Yeah, I do. And you can't call Daddy no more to help you.
Ain't that right?
Watch
He won't
this.
be able
And
to
this
hear
is
you
the best.
because he's in prison.
Such a weak brain, too.
Hey,
Bam. Oh, love it. She hauls off. Bam.
boom! Brooklyn girls, putting it down.
Cleo.
Like Cleo looks like she's a little
here's
uncomfortable,
here's a little
right?
bitch slap for you. A little kick. And then she starts teeing off.
Yeah, right here.
Look at her. She's bam, bam, railing her. I love it. I love it. Look at Linda. She goes in for one more. She's like, I'm leaving, I'm leaving.
Watch.
Your mother's ass. That's the. That is so.
And the
so-
way she goes like this. She walks
I'm out of here.
she's like,
I'm out of here. Yeah. So we don't know who the Scrunchy Twins are. We have to get your names, but you ladies really do a great job at causing some shit in there.
And you got put in your place for running your mouth. So I thought it was great.
right.
And I like how the girls stick together.
Absolutely.
Because, gang,
she came out with no hesitation.
we could use some more sticking together in 2024, okay? You got to stick together with your friends. Society has changed so much. You got friends, there's a problem. You got a problem with them, you got a problem with you, right? You got to stick together. And I like the way
I like
that.
Absolutely. Okay, so now we are at 22:37. So we have another.
We
have another clip. You love this.
It's the car.
Hey, and you know what? What's fun about this is that your Brooklyn brand tracksuit top matches.
Oh yeah.
Matches the two-tone car here.
I like that, right? So this is a really fun scene. I love the car. It's a 75th anniversary Buick Regal.
The two-tone.
The two-tones, the first Buick. We already talked about it. The first V6 turbocharged that Buick ever put in.
Black and silver? This is fresh.
Yeah, I agree.
And the
Definitely
song
fresh,
that's playing here
and a nice gift.
is a song that's
Yo, it's the
actually
75th
written and
anniversary
performed by
edition.
Louis Venera, who plays Jasper,
I wish I
Benny
could get
Z's
a gift
dad.
like
Yeah.
It's called
isn't
Closing
it?
the Book on You. Yeah.
I didn't know.
Saturday Night Fever 8-track.
And then he's pulling out the 8-track.
This is
So
the
I
best
thought it was kind of
soundtrack
funny with the
ever
8-track. So I'm going to
made.
tell you
I
something
know.
that you don't know, that I learned from William DeMeo. He was in this car driving down the road, and someone gave him a box of 8-track tapes because he keeps his cars original, and he only has an 8-track in that car. And he actually put in a Neil Diamond 8-track, and he heard the song for the very first time, Brooklyn Roads, which, as you watch our show, the next episode ends the entire season finale. So little behind the scenes, little
insider
deep
info
dive.
for you.
This car has got history, and if I'm not mistaken, that very car is for sale right now on eBay. Yep, I saw William.
You
put it
could
up.
drive the car for sure.
William, we could bring it up here to Springfield. We could work something out. Anyway, so let's move on.
You know, that car matches your Brooklyn brand tracksuit perfectly. And just a quick special thanks.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Chris Mormando, I would like to thank you for lacing the Talking Gravesend podcast in our lovely Brooklyn brand of velour tracksuits.
Had to wear it. It's about 95 degrees out, but I had to wear it, right, for one of the last episodes. We also got to get one for our producer, Sam. I mean, this guy, he needs one of these things as well. But anyway, we digress. Where did we just jump off of this thing here? Oh, so next, just then when they're talking about the two-tone, all of a sudden, you see Mikey the Hat pull up in his big Cadillac, and he's got Mr. Kafora in the car. Timmy Kafora, as a matter of fact.
Yes, their old teacher.
And that's what Betty says the same. He's like, what's he doing with Mr. Kafora in the car? It's like my old English teacher or something.
Yes. And he's played by Dan Grimaldi. And you may recognize him from The Sopranos, where he played both Philly and Patsy.
Yep.
What was their last name?
Parisi.
Parisi, yeah. Philly and Patsy Parisi. Yeah, that's it. And so here he is. He's playing.
Yeah, they were twins. They were twins. One was in one crew. They were both in Junior's crew. They killed. I forget which one of them. Patsy and Philly got killed first, and then
I think Phil.
I think it was Patsy. And Phil, I don't know why. And then later on, he was so distraught about it, he went to go kill Tony Soprano, and he instead of killing him, he pissed in his swimming pool.
That's
So, Dan, great to see you in the show, and that's another fun thing about the Gravesend series. You get to see some of your favorite actors from The Sopranos, other organized crime movies, and television series, just like seeing Dan here as Mr. Kafari.
Yes. And they get into a conversation, and they start talking about drugs.
Yes.
And Mr. Kafari explains to Benny that his son was unfortunately,
Larry.
Yeah, he was killed. He was hit on his bike, and you may remember him. That's Angel Dust.
That's Angel Dust Larry.
Angel Dust Larry that got
was
killed.
his dad.
Yep.
He liked weed, and now look at him. He's smoking the dust. That was the first time he ever tried Angel Dust.
Yep.
As a matter of fact.
See?
They said to him, it's like, oh, you smoke weed every day. You do it every day. So he tries this dust, and then he's riding his bike. He's on freaking Planet 9, and poof, gets hit by a car.
Now he's on Planet None.
He's on Planet None. So Benny tells Timmy, number one, Timmy says, call me Timmy. Don't call me Mr. Kafar anymore. And then he says that Benny tells him, the guys with the drugs got nothing to do with me. And he says, I know that. And he promises to look into it, and then they invite him to have some lunch with him.
Yes. So then we go into the next scene, and we see Benny sitting in the park.
Yes.
And
smoking a cigar.
Yes, smoking a cigar. And he is joined by an African-American gentleman. Jarrell. Yep. And Jarrell is played by a man named A.Z.
He's like this huge artist. I had no idea. I looked for him on IMDb, but then I went on Instagram.
He looked really familiar as we were like, God, this guy.
It's like Quiet Money or something like that.
You play such a smooth character. So believable. Just everything about you is on point. I mean, just everything. How you deliver every line, just your mannerisms. I love it. You did a great job.
His clothes. He wears his clothes perfect. He's got a nice gold Rolex. He's got a very smooth and confident demeanor. And I really appreciated this quick dialogue between him and Benny. And they talk about Lester Sims.
Yeah, he looked into Lester Sims.
Confirms it. And then Benny says, I heard he's a $3 bill, which I actually had to teach you the other day.
Yeah, I said, what does that actually mean? That he's extinct?
No, it means that he might be a homosexual because a $3 bill is queer or it is not right. And that's kind of what that whole term is. So he calls him a $3 bill. He says, I'd kill him myself. He's a jerk off. Then they talk a little bit about Mike Tyson. And he says, you got to come and see me. Obviously, this guy knows Mike Tyson. He goes, you got to come and see him sometime. And, if you listen, all guys who are Italian who are, of age in the 80s, boxing was it. I mean, I got boxing on my phone from like old boxing matches from like Larry Spinks, and I mean everybody loves boxing. And when Mike Tyson came on the scene, this guy was like he says, he was a straight wrecking machine.
I remember people used to be so pissed about their pay-per-view because they'd have these huge
like
parties.
60 seconds.
Yeah, and then 30 seconds later it's over, and they're just like, well, what even happened? So yeah, that's fun. Okay,
so fun. A little quick Mike Tyson reference there, and We might get to see a little bit of Mike. Maybe Benny will get to meet him in season 3. We'll have to find out.
We will see. All right. So next up, 2650 on the timeline, and actually we have this.
This surprised me.
Yeah. The whole scene, you're just like, this looks weird.
It's the right thing to do, Gaetano.
Yeah,
Gaetano's
buddy.
all black.
Your father?
Right,
He'd be
black.
very proud of you.
Then Morano has to say, your father would be very proud of you.
Such sadness in his face here.
Oh.
Jeez,
Paul Borghese, freaking Angel Morano gave him a crack right in the face, huh, Paul?
Gave him the old 1-2 there. And then we see him waking up, and he's dreaming, and he's drinking.
He's hammered. Yeah, I think that was a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue sitting on his lap. I think that's what I guess is the Staten Island Bridge going over from Brooklyn. Just unbelievable. He is.
You can see he's really at some crossroads in his life. He's really struggling with in turmoil right now.
And in that scene, of course, we've got Agent Harris, who's played by Corey Parker Robinson, and of course, Agent Morano, who's played by our friend Paul Borghese.
Absolutely.
So it was really fun, and I like how he just started beating everybody up. I was like, what the hell is going on? I was happy to see that it was a dream, and he wasn't already kind of turning, if you will.
Sure, for real. Okay, next scene. So this is fun. So we are at 2740 on the timeline, and we open up into a bar.
This is a hilarious scene.
Yeah, this is really funny. We see it opens up with Rosa, who is played by Fran Drescher. We have Vicky, who is played by Frances Mignano. And we have Gina, who is played by Justina Valentine. So you have 3 pretty hot and impressive women sitting here at the bar, and they're just cracking jokes about how Rosa knows everybody, and
they're going to go
and that they're going to go. And Dick Clark invited her to
because that's what Rosa said. She goes, "Come in, my brother's friend owns these great places in Brooklyn. Let's all go together." And then Francis's character, is it Vicky?
Yes.
She's like, well, I went to New York once to go. Did you meet Dick Clark? She goes, no, only you get to do stuff like that.
Yeah, they make a joke. They're like, oh, you know a lot of dicks, Rosa.
Yeah, that's I think it was Justina Valentine's character. She's like, oh, I know it. She's like, you know a lot of dicks.
You know a lot of dicks. And then Rosa says, yeah, and speaking of dicks, in walks Vinny. So in walks Vinny, who is played by Anthony Magno.
Yeah, Magnano.
Yeah.
He just had his 36th wedding anniversary the other day. Congratulations,
yeah,
Anthony.
Happy
Congratulations.
anniversary.
Lisa and I are going on our 23 years, so you got us beat.
Yeah, we just celebrated 22.
Yeah. 22. Yeah, so we're going on 23, darling.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
know. I'm just
okay.
being specific, saying we literally just celebrated 22 a week ago.
So back to Gravesend at the bar. I think in the background, I couldn't tell for sure, but I think it's the instrumental part of Hall & Oates' Man-Eater.
Yeah, it sounded. It was like a sultry. I think
really
it was
cool.
Man-Eater,
and it would be perfect for Fran's character.
absolutely
That's for sure.
for all three of those hot ladies there. They're gonna eat you alive.
Because she says, here's a real dick.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
here's
go
a
say
real
hi.
dick. So she goes over and talks to Vinny, who is on a first date. And
Sorry, I don't have his date's name.
yeah, she's a beautiful woman. She's wearing a lovely green dress, and she's just like, "Excuse me, how do you know this woman?" And he explains that he knows that she was a friend of her brother,
yeah.
and she's like, "Who's your brother?" And she's, "Don't worry about it, honey. If you think about it, you'll know." And they proceed to insult. She proceeds to insult him.
Yeah, she tells him where he took her to dinner.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
she
just
ruining the date, ruins his
him.
date. And then
She buys him around. She's like,
buys
take
him
him another
around,
round.
and off they go. And so they
When
all,
Justina walks out, she gives him the.
yeah, she gives the old finger. So yeah, it's a pretty fun scene. And I think we have this scene.
You know what? Let's watch a little bit of it. We just reviewed the whole thing. What the heck? I actually, you know what it is that I love the girls and I have them in the next scene.
Why don't
too.
we
I
all
just
go?
wanted to celebrate
Bake the
them.
town Rosa.
Bake the
Sounds
town
great.
Rosa.
Girls trip, I'm in.
Yeah, cool.
It's been a while since I've been there. I went and did this real tourist thing with John. We went to watch the ball drop in Times Square.
Did you meet Dick Clark?
No, Rosa. Only you get to do those things.
Oh, I know Dick too.
You know a lot of dicks.
I love the laugh, the classic Fran Dresser laugh.
Oh, speaking of dicks.
Speaking of dicks.
dicks. Love it.
Scumbag that used to hang out with my
And
friend.
Vinny here,
Say hello.
Anthony does a really good job at really playing
being like, "Oh my
completely
God."
embarrassed and just disgusted with himself. It's
Hey, Vinny.
hilarious.
Hey, how you doing there, Rosa?
Do okay. I see you got a new girlfriend.
Well, I wouldn't say.
It's their first date for crying out loud.
No,
So yeah, this is where Fran just totally trashes
great.
him, and
I bet
it
he
was
took you
just
to
a great
Pasquale's
scene.
on Walnut,
And it was
right?
fun because you kind of get to know
Yes,
Vicky a little
he
bit and
did,
get to know because we're gonna see a little bit more of it.
Yeah, we're gonna see them in just a
I'm
minute.
sorry. How do you two know each other?
The next scene, we open up. We're back in Brooklyn, and Benny is walking out of his apartment, and
He's got the black
He's
and
got the
gold
black
Brooklyn
and gold
brand.
tracksuit,
That's the
yeah.
first one I wanted. The velour with the black with the gold because it matches my media company colors.
okay, there you go.
Anyway.
And he makes a stop at the St. Anthony statue.
That's right. And then he flashes. Doesn't he have a flash there? Yeah, he flashes back to him at the Lady of Grace. And the next scene, he's sitting back at the yacht club, and Benny is sitting at the bar, and he's drinking.
Yes, drinking again.
So he's probably thinking about, because he still hasn't been back to the church yet, right? So he's still kind of working through the assassination attempt. And I think he's drinking Gentleman Jack by Jack Daniels at the bar, if I'm not mistaken. And then Santini Trufato walks in from Florida.
Yes, and he tells him that Petey's dealing drugs to his surprise, and Benny plays it cool and said he wasn't aware of that. As
I don't
we
think he
know.
was. He's
Well, he's
suspectful,
he's
right?
aware of it now. So
And then Trufato brings up, that he knows that Caesar won't take a meeting with him.
correct.
And so what he does is Trufato says, listen, I got a guy who's next to Charlie inside. Let's get Charlie to call the meeting. That way Caesar can't refuse.
Correct.
Because Benny even says, when he brings up the drugs, he goes, I got a drug problem right here in this very neighborhood. So that's kind of like how it all comes about them calling this guy to get Caesar to say, let's call the meeting.
Correct. And then the next scene, we see Sammy, and Sammy's sitting in his Cadillac, and you can see
this is a
the
quick,
stress
dark
on
scene.
his
Yeah,
face,
yeah.
and he is reminiscing the fight that he encountered at the roller rink.
The
with
guy's like, he's
Rosemary.
barely walking. He's hobbling
Yeah,
out.
he sees that Juicehead security guard coming out.
He's got a gun next to him. He's going to
he's
think about killing him.
contemplating it, and then he thinks of, I like to think that he thinks of his Uncle Mikey's words, and he puts the anger away and drives off. Then the next scene, we see Benny sitting on the stoop. And he has a visit from Harry.
Little Harry. So Harry's a little person, and he's played, let me see, I think I have this here, Anthony Galla. And he says, I want to come up, can I sit and talk for a few minutes? He goes, yeah, you don't have to talk. You can stay for a little bit longer than a few minutes or something like that.
Yeah. And he explains to him about his angel dust problem and how he's been,
he hates his life.
He's been out of his mind and hasn't been enjoying his life lately, and that's why he's been doing the drugs. And Benny tells him, here in the neighborhood, we love you and we got your back.
Yep, you got a good family.
Yep.
And that was one of the nice things I liked about it, because it shows how approachable Benny is, especially in his neighborhood. Like he said to Mario Cantone's character when he came into scene, is that when we grew up in the neighborhood, we all were like family. So it's kind of like no matter what you are, you're accepted in Benny's neighborhood, if you will. And I liked that about the scene. It was an enduring scene, and it also humanified Benny and Harry, frankly.
Yes.
Humified?
Yes.
Made that up.
Humified. Yeah, I don't know about that one. But we actually have this next scene coming up here. Benny's having a walk and talk with Iggy.
Yes.
Who is played by Wes Stevens. And
he's known for House of Cards. And when he was a youngster, Lisa, he was a big boxer.
Yeah.
And he also was the former assistant district attorney of the Bronx.
Yeah, that's quite an impressive resume.
Acting coach. I mean, when Wes is on camera, it's cutting. I mean, this guy he's really good.
Yeah, he is a really great actor. He does a great job as Iggy. So
and Iggy's a dick. Here we go.
I need to get a meeting with Caesar, Iggy.
Well, it ain't that easy.
Now that I had a stroke, Chris is away. I got a serious issue which I can handle myself. But I'm trying to follow protocol here.
You always have issues.
With the gold, see?
Really? I know plenty you have had. Your cousin is here. Mine, he's away. Let's not all forget. He's coming home soon.
You can see that cuts
Real
Iggy
soon.
wrong.
Wait a minute.
It's like, what is that supposed to mean?
Is this something I'm supposed to be afraid of, Benny? Huh? We're supposed
Yeah,
to
so
be
he motions
afraid
over to
of?
Rocco, because Rocco's with
Take
Iggy.
it that way if you choose to, Iggy. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I need this meeting with Caesar. I deserve that. I mean, aren't we on the same damn team here?
You really feel this way?
Yeah, I do.
All right, so it's getting through.
Let's see what I can do for you.
Yeah. Aren't we on the same team, he says.
Yeah, no, that got to him.
Okay, and now the next scene, we are back at the Brooklyn, at the yacht club. And Mikey the Hat is sitting with a crew, and they're all eating pizza. And we see Remo, who is played by Tony Luke Jr., and they're having a conversation. There's some other guys there from the Philly crew, and they're talking about, where they think the best slice is.
Yeah, and they says that's like asking a guy from Philly where the best cheesesteaks are. And Tony Luke Jr. is wearing like a maroon members only jacket, if I'm not mistaken. And then also because this is all here because Nikki's here from Philly, right?
Correct. Morano Sante.
And he's talking with Benny. They're having a little walk and talk. And behind them, you see Vic, played by Rocco Emilio. And, of course, Baldy. Played by Steve Morano. And Armando Sante's character, Nicky's, basically saying he could use more guys like... No, wait a minute. They're talking about Dominic. And Benny's saying, I know Dominic's a real mutt. And which is Gary Prestore's character. And he says, don't worry. All my guys got your back. So if there's any problems, we're there for you.
Correct. You have nobody to worry about there. So,
and then
he tells him that his sister is in town, Rosa, and that she's going to want to go to your club. So make sure you take good care of her.
Yeah, he's going to live to regret that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Nicky also says he heard that Caesar wouldn't take a meeting with him, and he's like, man, I could use more guys like you in Philly. Benny.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's where that comment came from. Absolutely. Now we're back in Florida.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is okay. So next scene, we're back in Florida, and it shows like a little bit of a beach scene. And Petey's they're inside the deli, inside of Mimi's, and Petey's asking Mario what they're going to do tonight. Mario's just going to bang a Brazilian roll.
Going to go bang some Brazilian broad.
Again.
So go for Mario.
And then they walk outside, and then all of a sudden, Petey goes down to his car. He says, Mario, we should open up more of these delis for ourselves.
And it's at that point that Mario pulls out a gun.
He says, yeah, you're right, Petey.
Yep. Pulls out the gun.
Out a gun. That's it for Pete. Killed him right next to his white Cadillac.
Yeah. Why'd you do it, Pete?
Yeah, he said, you shouldn't have done that, Pete. And I made that little meme with, I put that on Mario's shirt.
T-shirt,
Yeah,
yes.
I think we're going to make You Shouldn't Have Done That, Pete T-shirts, and you can order them here on Talking Gravesend Podcast.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So that was it for him. And I will say, Steve, we caught a little funny edit there. We did notice that when we walked outside of Mimi's, it was night, and then when
they go and they shoot Petey,
it was day.
It's day.
And what I really think happened there is that they just shot the shooting scene back north, right? I think that was done back in Brooklyn. It was just at a different time. So that was what the footage they had to make the scene work. And I doubt you probably noticed it until I pointed it out.
We're nitpickers here.
I'm not a nitpicker. I just watched 100 times. That's how many times we've watched Gravesend. So now, I mean, we've actually picked up. Well, we won't bring it up. We pick up anything.
So the next scene, we're back in Brooklyn, and we're out in front of John's Deli, and we see a very happy Gaetano with a gorgeous-looking sandwich. Little pepper and egg action there.
You know, Lisa, I love pepper and egg. Pepper and egg is like, they used to make it over where your grandfather lived on Day Street at J&T. So he used to go to J&T and have a pepper and egg. They had a poker game in the back of that place. As your grandfather was often there. So they're eating this beautiful pepper and egg, and then Agent Morano and Agent Harris walk up. And Morano, right off the bat, breaking his horns, being like, "Oh, pepper and egg. My mother used to make those, but geez, John's is known for the roast beef."
The roast beef, exactly.
I think Gaetano's drinking. Is he thinking he's drinking a Manhattan Special sitting on the?
I don't know.
I never had one.
I've only recently heard of these, so I don't know. Yes.
So basically, Gaetano says, "You guys get away from me. You're harassing me. I'm going to call my attorney."
Yep, they show him a picture, a Polaroid of him in the back of the car.
Yep. And he said, "What if we send this to Benny?" Gaetano crumples it up. He gets up to leave, but he goes back and he grabs the sandwich.
Yes, he has to grab the sandwich.
And,
that sandwich was too good to leave. So, okay, so now it's the next scene, and it's a nighttime scene, and we are on Coney Island.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And we see Stephen Gregory, Robert. We see Sammy, played by Christian DeMeo. And we see a young man by the name of Carl, who is Dante Palminteri.
We were wondering where Dante was in this show.
Yes, and so he's actually the one that pulls out the joint and says, let's smoke this joint. And
Robert says
Robert refuses.
No weed for him.
Yep. And he sells him out and be like, "Oh, it was good for you last week." And he's in front of Sammy, and he's just like, "Eh." He's like, "Not tonight, thank you."
Robert just says no.
Thank you. Yes.
He just says no.
Yes.
And the song that's playing in the background is "We in the Park," performed by 80s Empires, kind of like a rappy, kind of hip hop kind of a song. And then all of a sudden, Rosemary walks by.
Yes, and catches Sammy's attention, and he says, "I'm gonna excuse myself," and he goes and
she's standing out on the beach, kind of looking out of the ocean.
Looking out in the ocean, and he goes up to her, and they start to have a conversation. And the song that cuts in is "Seasons Change" by Expose.
Great song.
Absolutely great song. And actually, I was going to say, do we have any of this scene?
I don't
think we do.
But they dig in. So basically, she's upset about her dad being in jail.
Yeah, she's upset, and Sammy's relating to her, explaining that, you're going to be able to see your father. Your father's in jail. My mother's dead, and explains to her.
He would sign up for that any minute.
Yeah, he would take that in a heartbeat, and they really connect over that, and
then he tells her that his mother was murdered by Son of Sam,
correct,
and that it's monsters like that belong in prison, not your father. And that really got her, and they embrace. I think they have a little kiss.
Yep, they have a nice big smooch, and Seasons Change playing.
And then the next scene, we're back at Benny's after hours, and Gaetano's at the bar, and he's pounding shots. It looks like fireballs. And the song "Set It Off" by Strife is playing.
Yes, and I think we have a little bit of this.
Yeah. And this is the second time we've heard "Set It Off," I think, in the show. The first was when Benny was riding back to Brooklyn in his Grand National in season 1. It was one of my favorite songs. So.
The place ain't the same without her.
Sam, please.
What is it with you?
What do you mean?
You got a puss on your face. I see it. What is it? What's bothering you?
With the whistle blowing in the background.
I ain't gonna bullshit you, Benny. Obviously, you know something's bothering me. The thing is, I still don't know how to tell you. This ain't the right place.
The right place?
We go outside and talk.
See, he says we'll go outside and talk.
He's gonna be here any minute.
But he's like, I can't. I got Nicky says the sister's going to be here.
Right, he's ready to talk now.
Yep.
I can't even hear myself think. Then I still got to get in the car and go to Staten Island and see that other guy. Yeah, I know who you got to go see.
So he tells him I got to go over to Staten Island and do this other thing. So he goes, we're going to go do that, and we'll talk when we're done tomorrow.
Correct. And he leaves, and then he motions over to Mikey the Hat and Vic behind him, and they basically says, follow Gaetano.
Yeah, follow Gaetano.
Him home.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then we have this scene as well, 45:38. You see Rosa, Vicky, and Gina walking down the stairs into the nightclub.
Yeah, and you know what? I did this scene. I recorded it just for a couple of reasons. Number one, because it's a lot of fun and it has a lot of our favorite cast members in it. Here they are walking down. She's like, it's the hottest place. This is my brother.
And look at Neil Lombardo.
That's Neil Lombardo right there.
Open the door.
Nice job, Neil. Love it. And you can see a bunch of people here. Hey.
Oh my God. Nicky has a beautiful sister.
By the way, Lisa, I think you know this. I know Fran Dresser. Can't wait to catch up with her.
Thank you. Well, you're pretty easy on the eyes, you said.
Well, that's fun because I now know Francis Viviano.
We know we got all three.
And Justina Valentine.
Yeah, we got
when we partying, girls.
She's an amazing teacher. I mean, like, so in demand.
And of course, Justina Valentine, huge pop star. I work out with some of her. I listen to her music at the gym.
I love listening to her freestyle. I mean, she freaking kills it when she is rapping. We'll get a little taste of it in just a second here. Those earrings, though, I love the earrings.
Pleasure to meet you. Hello, ladies. Lisa.
Champagne.
Get the champagne, please.
So I think Tommy Romola, big time Tommy, pops in. He goes, hey, it's our friend Sally from the Bronx.
Yeah, Sally from the Bronx
And
is there.
I just want to say.
We see Chris and Lisa dancing in the background.
Chris and Lisa in the background. And then, of course, he introduces Peter Gaudio, who plays Big Rocco. I just want to say to Justina, Francis, and Fran, the three of you, girls, you look fabulous in this.
You really do.
We love you in it. And
your chemistry, the three of you look like you're having a good time.
And your voices. I love all of your voices. Justina's got a heck of a voice.
It's like a melody together
really
when the three of you are together. It's
so
great.
let me see. Do I have the next? No, I don't. So what happens is Justina, they say, oh, you do DJing. So she gets behind the ones and twos.
Yeah.
She puts on Play at Your Own Risk.
Play at Your Own Risk, yes.
Oh, my God.
She gives a little rap beforehand.
Yeah, that's right. So now it's time to play at your own risk.
Yeah,
And then Big Rocco comes up and he's dancing, looks good in his suit.
And then Benny
happy.
approaches her and he's like, wow, you can rap too. And she's like, you know it.
There's a lot I can do.
Yeah, there's a lot I can do. And he's like, let's get a drink at the bar.
Oh, that's right. She goes, Andiamo. And then they go. So that was great.
So.
And then, of course, it's fun to see everybody. And, we love a fun scene like that. So we have a bunch of friends there, too, from Philly that were in there. I know Michael was in that. I think it was Jeffrey. So the next scene, we have Tina Telva, and she's walking out of her house, and Agent Morano and Harris approach her. She's about to get into her 500 SL four-door Mercedes, and there's like, hey, you going to find Rosemary?
Right, they already know that Rosemary has been out all night. These two are just they're just there for the harassment. So
they really are. They're just trying to knock anyone they can off of balance and see if they can get them.
And you can tell that Tina's a little bit taken back by that. You can tell she's almost on the verge of like tears the entire time. Her eyes are really glassed over as they're really trying to work her.
She's going to look for her daughter.
Yeah,
who's been out all night.
Her husband's in jail.
And then the way they say to her, they say that Chris was going to talk to us, which I'm sure is news to Tina. And whether or not it's true, we don't know. And, she just told them to go fuck themselves. You know what I mean? Which was great. I mean, she didn't budge at all because they said, hey, he's gone for 13, but he could be gone a lot longer if somebody else starts snitching.
Right.
Or you can bring him home a little sooner if you start cooperating with us.
Yep.
So
and she basically tells him to basically go fuck themselves, and that scene's over. And then we open up on Coney Island here.
Yeah, because it kind of transitions. It shows like nighttime, all the rides shut down, and then it's night. It's morning.
Yes, it's the morning after, and Rosemary wakes up in the arms of Sammy on the beach. And she wakes up in a bit of a panic. Yes. And she's basically like, I gotta fucking get out of here.
Fully clothed,
they're
you know what I mean? They just fell asleep in the sand. And Season Change is playing.
Yeah, and she runs off into the sunshine.
Sammy wakes up. He's like, "What's going on? Where's my girl?" And
she's like, "I gotta call my mom. She's out of here."
And Sammy's wearing one of those like motorcycle like Fonzie leather coats, and he's got a really nice silver Rolex Datejust with a Wimbledon dial, if I'm not mistaken. Lovely watch.
Yes.
And you know what? The scene ends the show. That's the end of episode 8.
End of episode 8.
You're left on the kind of what's going on with a lot of different things.
Right.
We've got
What's
meetings
gonna
happening.
happen?
What's going to happen with Rosemarie and Sammy? What's going to happen with Tina and Agent
Is
Morano?
Tina going to crack?
Things are heating.
What is going on with Gaetano?
What is going on with Gaetano? Is he going to start cooperating? Is he going to
Does it turn into more than just a drink between Benny and Gina?
What about Tina Telva and Benny Zerletta? What's going to happen with these two?
What is going to happen?
Here's my advice to you, Benny. Anytime you're with Tina, take 2 fucking steps back, okay? Like 2 full. You cannot be that close to that woman. Nope. She is going to get you. She's a man-eater, okay? Be careful.
Whoa, here she comes.
Whoa, here she comes.
All right, so we are so excited. Episode 8, we have one more of season 2.
Make sure you go ahead. If you haven't watched if you haven't watched the Gravesend series, available now streaming on Amazon Prime and Tubi, go ahead, watch this series. It is the #1 organized crime time period streaming today. Take our word for it. We actually do the companion show, the Talking Gravesend podcast, because we love the show so much.
Love it.
And while you're here enjoying our presentation, make sure you go ahead and follow us on all the social medias. Lisa and I need your help. We've got to boost the TGP feeds, right? So Instagram, Talking Gravesend Podcast, Facebook page, Talking Gravesend Podcast, and of course, YouTube. We have all of our full-length episodes available on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe. We would love your support. And while you're doing all these subscribing, go ahead and follow Gravesend Series on Instagram, Facebook. They've got a bunch of fun content. And while you're at it, there's a bunch of the talent that's on there.
Follow your favorite actors. They're super fun, super active on the internet.
Chris Vermando's feeds
they're great.
are hilarious. You
I
got to
love
watch
them.
them. Come on.
Absolutely.
So thanks so much for sticking around to the end of episode 8. We really appreciate it. Lisa and I are having a lot of fun covering the Gravesend series. And we're having a lot of fun having you along for the ride. So if there's not anything else, I think we can just send them on the way as we usually do.
Yes, sir.
I think
we'll see you on the streets on the next one.
Ciao.
Ciao.